I considered myself an anarcho-pagan, post-situationist, democratic socialist feminist. But as a woman, who was I really supposed to be?
Sigmund Freud, an expert on women, if there ever was one, once said that despite his 30 years of research, he was unable to answer one great question. What does a woman want?
Do you remember when you thought it might be necessary to become a feminist?
Oh, I would say I was 4 or 5. I never felt I became a feminist. It was and still is a big necessity.
I didn't understand the word feminism, but I knew there was something wrong all the time with being a girl. Always.
I may have breasts and a but that doesn't mean I can't do absolutely anything in the world.
Who do you think the first person who told you you paint like a man was?
A man. I don't know. Some man. It's really not like a man. It's more like a quaint hermaphrodite.
I think we began to understand how to develop the self. And so I was attracted not because of gender, the abstract, but because I was female and had to understand the self in a political way.
We're all there with the kind of equal adventure. That's the new raw territory. It's not Texas, it's not California. It's New York City in the very middle of it. And it's pure magic.
I had joined a collective of feminists in the arts, women who felt like real peers. With our shared and profound commitment to rewriting the histories and future of women, we poured our dreams into the founding of our own journal, Heresies, a feminist publication on art and politics.
You know, Art in America, Art News, Art Forum. I mean, we were publishing stuff that they would not have touched, and that made it so much sexier and fun.
You know, we were outsiders, and being outside, we could freely reinvent things to our own liking.
It was very widely known everywhere that women were the researchers and men were the writers. A woman would say, I think I'm ready to have a tryout as a writer, and the editors would laugh behind her back and say, she wants a key to the men's room.
We have to do it ourselves.
Right.
We have to do it ourselves.
That's what I was always telling
We will make our own galleries, make our own magazine, write our own articles. We'll do it, all the whole thing.
And along with us, the original Mother Collective, thousands of women worked on Heresies. Heresies the magazine published 27 issues from 1977 to 1992.
First thing I said when I came into Heresies, when we were all getting together, I said, I'll do anything, but I won't write. This is what it's about, baby.
Yeah. I mean, we did some crazy things, like no two issues would have the same people working on them, so that there were no skills that anyone gained that they could pass on to anyone else.
Well, if I learned anything, I learned that democracy is difficult and messy and nasty and sensational.
I worked a lot with each different issue collective because my responsibility was making sure the magazine actually got to the printer.
And what I liked the most, I think, was the collectivity of it, the fact that it's very deeply collaborative, the process of design.
And that was the beginning for me, of actually meeting with women. Who ever heard of meeting with women?
I think at the second meeting we went around and I thought these women were all whack jobs. And I said, you need a budget and you need a plan, you need a business plan. You know what I'm saying? And Stephen starts yelling at me. She said, that's exactly what we don't need.
And when something would come in, we'd have a folder for it, and then everybody would read it. And there was a sheet in there where everybody made comments. I hate this, I love this, you know. This is incorrect, you know. This so forth. Yes, this is illiterate.
Tried to reach out, we tried to really be inclusive. We really tried to understand other viewpoints.
It's really a way of turning feminism into a verb rather than a noun. Right from the very beginning, we really attempted to expand on the very idea of feminism. We had the great goddess, the third world women's issue, the women and violence issue. I mean, it was absolutely essential to talk about those things and to bring them up into the consciousness of the entire society, not just ourselves.
I think for a lot of lesbians in my generation, we felt different. We were willing to risk ostracism. You know, we were willing to be that brave.
And that's what Heresies became for me. You know, all my disdain for white feminists just disappeared because we were all in the same boat. We just had come at the boat from different spaces.
Well, I think we pumped the blood back in. There was color-filled painting, and there was minimal art. Color-filled painting was so boring. I mean, I really wanted to be a maximalist, not a minimalist.
What's a maximalist?
A maximalist, you put a lot of things in.
I really think that the women's movement and that women had a tremendous amount to do with kind of taking everything apart during that decade. And I think knowing these other women who were also taking things apart, doing what you're not supposed to do, it was an affirmation that you weren't crazy.
There was a certain trajectory of modernism and postmodernism, and somewhere between those two things, there was feminism, which completely changed the refraction of everything that came after.
To take our unexpressed thoughts and desires and fling them with clarity and coherence on the wall, a screen, a sheet of paper, or against the long silence of history.
Let me hear you say, yeah.
I just always felt very, very, very lucky to have sort of emerged as an artist at that moment of the women's movement. And I thank my lucky stars every day of my life because I know how hard it was for women previous to that.
You know, that was the glory of Heresies. We were all there for each other. We were like this team, and it gave us tremendous power in the rest of our lives.
It's so hard in this day and age to kind of go back to that period where the engagement and the passion was there. And that's what I hunger for.
I think the girls don't want to call themselves feminist and don't want to have any association with feminism because they fear for their lives, quite literally.
Being a feminist is such a dirty word today. I mean, it's, never mind, I'm going too far, go.
Well, it's always been sort of a subversive word, but it's become sort of a smutty word. It's not exactly dirty, but, you know, a lot of people don't want to say, you bet I'm a feminist, why do you even ask?
I have found like the whole collection of the old Heresies. That was when I first found Heresies, in the trash.
When we talk about the second wave feminism, it's almost as if it's meant to be something that has a beginning and an end, and at the end of it, then you can look back and say, okay, what did we accomplish? I don't think that it ever ended.
How can anybody retire?
I don't know.
Well, they got women on TV, but I still ain't satisfied. 'Cause co-optation's all I see, and I still ain't satisfied. They call me Miss, they sell me blue jeans, and I still ain't. Whoa, they lied, I still ain't. Whoa, they lied, and I still ain't. Whoa, they lied, and I still ain't satisfied.